I just love the fact that Infobip is the largest aggregator. So we're getting right to the source instead of going and buying messaging retail and overlaying more costs or more hands in the pot. I'm Joe Hix. I'm the VP of Technology for Amsive. Basically, that means I work across all of our various marketing channels and work in the evolution part. So all the innovative work that we're doing, or optimization of process, handling of customer data, customer profiling, and then all the cool fun stuff we execute with Infobip, that all runs through me strategically and from a platform and execution perspective. Amsive is a full service agency. We're super hyper-focused on the customer, putting the customer data at the center. So we work with our customers to do everything from acquire customer lists to all the way through augmenting of their customer profiles, and then building of strategies and executing out through just about any channel you can possibly imagine. We have full stack media, SEO, CRM, but we also, very interestingly enough, have an in-house print shop too. So we have two massive print shops that we own as well. And then we're launching with you guys in mobile and RCS and ABM. Honestly, it evolves every 5 minutes. I've been in personalization since 2003. And so I think that really the ways it changes the most now is that the speed, right? So back then we were doing dynamic print and landing pages and maybe email. You can get one or two of those out a month. Now you can do personalization at scale across all channels in days, if not minutes. So every year we add a new channel, every year we add more robust data. We can analyze that data better and execute on it. But over the last couple of years, it's gone really fast. AI, I mean, that's how it works. A lot of our customers, so they're in kind of regulated industries. So we deal with healthcare, finance, banking, insurance. We do some hospitality and travel as well, but basically a lot more regulated type businesses. So they're trying to help us figure out how to transcend the various age gaps in their clientele. People that we were direct mailing to are not the same people like me that never check mail, right? So figuring out that the mix of way we communicate with them, how to get the most relevant content, and get it where they need it. So that's the game we're trying to play almost all the time. So right now with you guys, a lot of with Infobip work is starting to figure out how we meet the millennial and below audience, and with some legacy brands like insurance to where they actually communicate and where they digest information. Honestly, the biggest thing right now at scale is content, right? We can spin up, create data. We can profile customers. We can execute in any platform. But when you're dealing in AI and the speed and scale that we're launching across all channels for our customers, 9 times out of 10, it's really just getting their content organized so that it can be used at that scale. So we do tons of work in helping them kind of revitalize and optimize their content strategy and their content library to make it work. Imagine everything I just said, being able to place that dynamically, whether it's on a web page or in an SMS or in media, but now it has to be variabilized. And the variabilization is not just hi Joe anymore. It's hi Joe with the background from Mexico, because that's where I live, with the type of beer I want in the foreground, and a dog who's a Labrador sitting there, because we can do it with AI, right? So that trickiness of keeping within brand guidelines and also being able to do it across all channels and also not stepping on your own toes with what you've offered is kind of the sophistication right now. Best example I have, especially in mobile messaging. We were working with an insurance provider. They might insure your phone that's in your back pocket. And essentially they were doing this all through direct mail. So all their critical communications are going out through direct mail. However, the direct mail population it's 50-50, if not 60-40 at best, on the other side with digital. So we started testing SMS, just basic, secure SMS through shortcodes. Literally found that was 90% of the people we're executing to actually opened the SMS and clicked on the document to review, something that's kind of a stodgy communication, but it's important for them to have. So just the fact that it's there in the inbox, we can literally track it the moment they click on it, get the document right when they need it on their phone, and they don't have to go to the mailbox. It's huge. All of the industries we're touching, because they have a high level of support required and a more complex product they're selling, benefit from it. So the use cases are just a little bit different. So like for instance, insurance, it's a lot of critical communications, it's a lot of onboarding programs, it's a lot of notifications about your service. Finance, a little bit similar. Hospitality, totally different animal, right? So you're looking at the process of managing check-in, the process of upsell, cross-sell of your food, of your experience, if you want to upgrade your room, things like that. So they're all growing. I would just say high touch, high volume, with a high level of support required, work fantastic. Well, if we're talking about support, it would be customer satisfaction scores, reduction in churn, right? So if we're keeping people happy, keeping their calls to the call center down, keeping that satisfaction score high, then we're doing our job there. Also in support, enough of that is like, staying within compliance. So how many messages we execute in compliance that were received and actually confirmed to be clicked through, versus marketing campaigns where we're selling Nike shoes or Lululemon or something like that. It's all about conversion, right? And with RCS, we can get them to a conversion so much faster. So it's maybe 1-2 clicks and you're in your Apple Wallet and buying. So we're seeing that be a huge, driver of faster commerce and bigger response rates. No, actually, I would say it's 50-50 because the RCS channels have so much more scale that we can give them information and more options they can select to go get to the right info. So no, actually support is every bit as good in RCS as marketing. Now, the marketing's prettier in RCS, right? Because you're pushing video and you have all the carousels, all cool stuff. So, even use cases like retail, they're not gonna have as much support, but it's gonna look fantastic in RCS just from a product recommendation, display, and things like that. Everybody's gonna say AI. But the reality is it's being prepared for AI, right? So we talked a little bit about the content, about your data, but those things are really important. AI can work only as well as the content you put into it. So it's quite funny, we get calls all the time. Can you help me, get into AI-enabled chat? You bet. Do you have the content? No. Okay, well, we gotta back up. You bet. Do you have the governance for that? No, we don't. We gotta back up. So it's a great conversation. Selfishly for us, it's a great place that we can work and add a lot of strategic value because we do, help make the ads and drive the strategies and all that fun stuff. But it's not one that's talked about as much because there's a lot of consulting that goes on up front to get ready to do this part. So I think that's probably the biggest trend. A lot of our clients are going mobile. So RCS is so timely. It's, basically you have pretty much, again, going after the response rate and the engagement rate is just huge. And being able to provide secure messaging and the branded messaging is massive. So that's our only trip really to get into mobile marketing as much is the fraud. But now that we have the branded and the verified, it works really well. Honestly, I think it's the choose your own adventure of what AI can bring to the table, right? So many times we spend days and weeks in the strategy room trying to plan what we think someone's gonna do and how to make them do something specifically versus create great content and great products and services that somebody wants and serve it to them at light speed the way that they want it. I think there's gonna be so much amazing data that comes out of that with the ability to really understand the customer a whole lot more than just the A/B testing that we think that they may want. And we get lucky enough that sometimes they do. So I think to me, that's gonna be the coolest thing possible, where we can have much richer profiles and much better conversations with the client. So my background, I worked in telecommunications for almost 20 years. So I have seen the process of managing, getting spun up on the various providers. I've also seen the backside of all the business of it. So we already had a couple of other providers we're talking to, but I just love the fact that Infobip is the largest aggregator. So we're getting right to the source instead of going and buying messaging retail and overlaying more costs or more hands in the pot. So I first off love that. The platform moments is fantastic. It's literally, to me, if you have the acumen to run a platform of that kind of enterprise scale, it's similar to a Salesforce Marketing Cloud, but it has exponentially better mobile. And then, of course, the Answers platform for AI. I love that. I'm super excited about that. And the team's awesome. Working with you guys from the perspective of, how do we look at POCs? Is this client going to work? What are the compliance items we talked about before? Helping me understand where not to trip. I think I got to give those guys a lot of props. They really we work with you guys 3 or 4 times a week. And so that's a huge piece. Knowledge, 100% knowledge. I mean, things like today where we get to sit there and hear from top folks from various providers, various technology companies, other people like us, that bringing all that together and having the partnership is great. I mean, I get a phone call from you guys once or twice a week that we sit down and talk about something new, cool and interesting that's going to happen or launch. We get into like various business models that will work. So to me, that's a partnership. It's sharing that stuff and us sharing back to you guys what's working, and making sure the product just gets better and better.